Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the 43rd Annual Assabet Valley Regional Technical High School National Honor Society Induction Ceremony. The person I'm going to introduce first and foremost to kick off tonight's event is our Superintendent Director, Mr. Ernie Hoole.
Thank you and good evening. On behalf of the entire Assabet family, I want to welcome all the parents and family members that are here this evening. I want to recognize our administration that is present in the room. Mr. Hollick, our principal, Mr. Russ Banks, and our Director of Technical Programs, our Director of Academics, Mr. Rob McCann, who you will hear from later on this evening, our two assistant principals, Mr. Hagan and Mr. O'Rourke. Again, this. I want to give a special thanks to our National Honor Society advisors, Mrs. Robbins and Mrs. Codier, who are doing an outstanding job. This is one of those truly wonderful events, I think, that makes us most proud and pleased to be here. By the way, we have some other staff that are in the room as well, and thank you to them. But this is one of those events in which, you know, we get to witness excellence in what these students are going to accomplish and have accomplished at this point in time. I think the four cornerstones of the National Honor Society since 1921, since its inception, of scholarship, service, character, and leadership truly shines through. And as these students join our current members, we are very proud of what they've accomplished. So welcome again to Assabet, and enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Hoole. Good evening. My name is Brian Cleon-Pimenta, and I am the current president of Assabet Valley's Regional Technical High Schools chapter of the National Honor Society. I am privileged to welcome you all to tonight's induction ceremony in honor of the 20 new members who will be joining the ranks of our National Honor Society. First, congratulations to all our inductees, their families and friends who have come to celebrate this immense honor. The purpose of tonight is to honor these new inductees who all clearly stand out in the fields of character, scholarship, leadership, and service, and formally welcome them into Assabet's chapter of the Honor Society. Does everyone have their cameras out? I ask everyone to please stand as we welcome the 2017 induction class of the Assabet Valley National Honor Society. The journey into our National Honor Society does not begin sophomore year, but junior year, freshman year. Beginning your freshman year, you challenge yourselves and others, taking honor courses in a new school, not knowing what to expect. However, academic excellence was not your only goal. You all made choices to get involved, whether it was clubs, sports, community service. Wherever you went, you had the goal to impact others, and today we applaud you for that. 2 years ago, I was sitting in those seats, more specifically in the second row, and I watched as Araya Miller, our former president, gave her speech. I listened and watched. However, I have to confess, I could barely hear her over my pumping heart, yet I couldn't tell if I was nervous or overfilled with pride. It was probably both. As I watched her, I didn't think I would actually take her place in the weeks to come. Yet I did. I tell you, challenge yourselves because the outcome can only better you. Never doubt your abilities as leaders and scholars, because great leaders come from humble hearts and minds. When my journey began as president, as a sophomore with my fellow executive board, we had 5 heads filled to the brim with ideas. Similar to past presidents of our government, they are full of ideas and want to follow them through. Yet the president cannot act without the advice of his cabinet and the approval of his Congress. My e-board is my cabinet, and you will be joining my Congress. And through sophomore and junior year and senior year, we accomplished multiple fundraisers, a dodgeball tournament, 2 Aztec wishes for 2 kids. Through each year, we also tried to plan bonding activities to come closer together as members and as friends. As you will soon all learn, the most important aspect of being a member of this premier organization is to help others who struggle. You are all clearly the top of this school. Now it is your responsibility to help those climb the same ladder you did. To help those who struggle to stay above the F or D or even the B. It is your time to help those in your community who are in need and to become community leaders. Are you all ready to become leaders of academic excellence, your community, of your peers? I hope so. Now as we move forward, a member will light a candle with each candle symbolizing a different characteristic of the National Honor Society. Character, scholarship, leadership, and service. We will first begin with Alden Vetter, NHS member of the class of 2017.
Thank you, Brian. Character is the next pillar of the National Honor Society. Character is ingrained in each member. One exemplifies these characteristics day in and day out, demonstrating respect, honesty, and integrity. The members of Assabet Valley's National Honor Society demonstrate the best character in the school. These students rise to the occasion and work hard to show their dedication in not only their academics, but in their communities, families, and teams. Character is not representative of one day or one action, but a lifetime of hard work and integrity. The current and future members of Assabet Valley's National Honor Society have displayed and continue to maintain these high standards. I will now light a candle to signify the National Honor Society Pillar of Character. I would then like to welcome up our next student speaker, Joe DiGaetano, National Honor Society member of the class of 2018.
Thank you, Alden. As a defining characteristic of a National Honor Society member, scholarship is vital for the success of us all. Scholarship is defined by impressive academic achievement, evident through the fact that a GPA of 3.75 or higher is required to even be nominated. But the students you see before us now, every single one of them, has proven that they are willing to reach heights that extend further than a grade point average. Those currently in the NHS, as well as graduates of the society, show the outstanding merits of someone who works to achieve their dreams, of someone who their peers may look up to. of someone who can be accurately described as a scholar. In this, they may look to be rewarded in the other definition of the word, money to aid them in their journeys to further education within colleges. Our NHS's scholars study for their knowledge to be put to the tests in many ways, whether it is yearly exams, MCAS, or even Skills USA. As the application each inductee filled out and returned will display, extracurricular activities are prominent in these scholar schedules. Academic achievement may be encompassed by the virtues of a member of the NHS, but the learning of a high level does not stop at the last class of the day. All of us NHS members have traveled a road marked by deeds done with alacrity and little hesitation. And for the scholars in this room, the road does not stop here. I will now light the candle to represent the Pillar of Scholarship. I would like to welcome up our next student speaker, Hannah Besaw, who is our NHS treasurer and a member of the class of 2017.
Thank you, Joe. Tonight, I'm here to speak to you all about the pillar of leadership and the importance of being a leader. Being a part of multiple competitive sports teams throughout my life has taught me just how important leaders are to a group. Although every person plays an important role in it is the leaders who steer the group in the right direction. It is the leaders who pick the group up when things may not be going smoothly, and they are the ones who others feel comfortable talking to when needed. People feel this way because of how they are treated. Being a leader is not about thinking you are above others or that you are the best, but rather knowing how to communicate well with others and being able to motivate those around you. Instead of telling people what to do and standing by to watch, they explain to others what needs to be done, then accomplishing the goal by working alongside them. Each of our inductees here today have shown that they hold these qualities needed to become a successful leader in anything they choose to do. During your experience in the National Honor Society, I encourage you to get involved in all the events that interest you. And most of all, remember to always have a positive influence on the people and situations around you. Congratulations on your accomplishments so far and all that you will achieve in the future. And now I will light a candle to signify leadership. I welcome up our next speaker, Molly Manganero, National Honor Society member and member of the class of 2017, to talk about the pillar of service.
Thank you, Anna. Service is only a single pillar of the NHS community. However, it is only a word until someone comes along and gives it meaning. By definition, it is the action of helping or doing work for someone. I don't necessarily agree with the books in this situation. They have given the new meaning to the word service. No, they have not done anything for anyone. What good is it to perform a task for somebody? These chapter members have assisted others. They have donated their time and efforts to prove that others can always surpass their limits and go above and beyond their own expectations. NHS has donated time to the Salvation Army. Each year, volunteers ring bells outside the shops and markets to raise money and awareness during the holiday season. Because what better way to help out than to bundle up and step outside for a few hours in December? There have been volunteers eager to help with peer tutoring. Honors and AP students, athletes, class officers that spend extra time after school to benefit their peers. After all, the most valuable thing that can be given is time, for this is something that cannot be retrieved once it is gone. In the midst of all the busy schedules, they still manage to find time for the school community too. By organizing school-wide dodgeball tournaments, students are able to get involved too. Students were able to organize teams and compete against others to earn the dodgeball title. And with all the proceeds going towards a cause, it's a fun day for the heartwarming result. Members of National Honor Society have provided service to their peers, their school, and their community. They are not only loyal to their duties as students, but also to the values of the program: scholarship, service, leadership, and commitment. Service is only a single portion of what this group is committed to. The things the chapters accomplish and what the inductees are capable of in the future is beyond my comprehension. They are capable of whatever they set their minds to. I know that these devoted students and scholars will always take the next step, going the extra mile to ensure that Aspet Valley chapter is in good hands. I look forward to seeing where they will take us in the years to come. I will now light the fourth candle to represent the pillar of service. I would like to welcome Ms. Robbins up to the podium to introduce our Director of Academics, who will be addressing our new inductees.
Thank you, Molly. Now the fun begins. We all have our 4 pillars that have been lit by our students. Obviously, all of the pillars are weighted equally once you become a member, but the foundation of that membership is based on your academics, which obviously that is the foundation that got you in here in the first place. So every single year we ask our Director of Academics, fittingly, to give our keynote address. I promise the jokes get better every year, so get ready for our Director of Academics, Mr. Rob McCann.
Thank you. I've been asked this year to keep my talk here to 45 minutes. So I was amazed that people could talk that long. You could watch an entire episode of like Game of Thrones or This Is Us, and the person's still talking. That's a lot of time to wait for somebody. It's crazy when you think of it in that terms. With that said, how many people have previously been to this induction before out there? As long as under 90%, I can still do my same stuff. So I want to thank you again, as always, for having me tonight. Congratulations on another fine-looking night. It's off to a great start by Mrs. Robbins and Mrs. Correa. They're doing an excellent job. The 2 excellent history teachers, great teachers in general, great educators, great people. So congratulations on another night. Again, thank you for having me. I don't just look at it as an annual thing. This is part of my job. I honestly enjoy being here very much. So thank you. And besides this, I haven't been invited to anything in a year. I'm the kind of guy who likes his own Facebook posts. So it's sad. So with that said, my speech is going to be 90% adoration, 10% kind of message to these students. My feeling is though everybody over here has done everything that's pretty much has been asked of them to this point. That's why they're here. They don't need to hear another message or lecture from somebody else, particularly a person like myself, who was not in the National Honor Society when I was your age. I'm extremely envious of all of you that you're at this point in your lives, and it's something that I didn't reach because I was too busy with my social life or playing sports, or there was always something else going on. I was a good student, but I could have been a great student. And these students here symbolize everything that I should have been, and a lot of kids could be. They're able to balance their vocational studies, their sports, their activities, their clubs, their friends, their social life, and there's so much more social life that's around us with having a phone and not taking the time out of your day. And they're able to balance all those things, so I commend you for that. With that said, it's one of the few times, especially because I work with Mr. Gahagan, that I'm not the best dressed person around. You all look lovely and handsome tonight. Mr. Gahagan is in the back without the tie, if you're asking what I'm saying. He's the smaller of the less powerful looking dean of students. These kids do amazing stuff in the classroom. Most importantly, what they do is they make me relevant, and they make me proud to come to work every day, and they make me work to come to work every day. What I mean by that is we're going to be implementing our 9th advanced placement course next year. That's not even counting the pre-engineering courses that are weighted at the AP level. That's not counting all the electives that we have. And you'd be hard pressed to find another technical school who has the amount of AP classes and the amount of elective classes, and interesting elective classes and engineering classes. And, 50 students in this building right now are college students because they're in dual enrollment programs through a variety of different schools, through QCC and NHTI, getting credit. My colleagues in other schools don't have that, and they don't have that excitement coming to work every day. So I want to thank you for that. Again, I'm relevant because of those things. It makes me work hard. It makes me look forward to coming to work every day. Because without these students, I can't have all these wonderful classes, and our teachers can't have all these wonderful classes to teach. It's a big deal. And it's also a lot of hard work. Over the summer, I'll come in with Mrs. Berghaus, and it's really a labor of love in order to schedule these kids into all the AP courses they want, all the pre-engineering courses they want, and get them a foreign language and things of that nature. But again, it's what makes me relevant and what makes me coming back every day, so I want to thank you for that. In terms of a message, I would ask one thing, especially of the seniors and of the kids that are moving on to the next thing. As you get older and older, you take on more stuff. But I just want you to remember one main thing. Any of you have proven that you can literally do anything, but you can't do everything. Once you start to try to do everything, sometimes things fall apart. You can't be the master of everything. So find the things that you're passionate about, work hard at them, and don't think you have to do everything. You're still young enough where you should be enjoying your high school years, and working hard is part of that. But just remember, you can do anything, but you can't do it. Another thing that I'm impressed with these kids is, and it comes up all the time, is that a lot of these kids over here do stuff without being asked. They do stuff and they're kind to people without even telling anybody else. And I'm the exact opposite of that. So, for instance, I'm a really nice person, and I do a lot of things for my people, but in terms of like my wife or something like that, when I do the laundry, I want to be known that I did it. It's a big deal. Just yesterday, I'll spend at least 10 minutes in front of a person's house, my neighbor's house, to make sure that they see me outside the window stowing their stuff. It's a nice old lady down the street. Going to do her house every time we have a storm. But I always want the credit for it, so I'm out there like 5 or 6 times more than I should be, just making sure they're looking out the window. The point is that, well, funny, is that these kids do stuff without asking for it. They do all the right things, and again, I commend them for that. With that said, and wrapping up here, I have 2 boys of my own. One just kind of graduated from here. I mean, he's 5, so he went here since he was 2 weeks old, and he's moved on to kindergarten. A lot of students know him. His name is Rob, and now I have a 1.5-year-old named Jack, who's here as well at the daycare. I've been here since 2 weeks old. And, they get a lot of attention walking around me, walking around my wife, who's a math teacher here. And, I can say this, as they get older, my son is in kindergarten now. I'm starting to understand a little bit about homework, a little bit how hard it is to even get a kindergartner to do literally like 6 minutes of homework a night. But I can say this, and this is probably the best thing I can say about these kids. I don't know what's in store for my 2 boys in 10 years or 11 years or when they go to high school. But if they're in your place at this point, then I think I've done a pretty good job. So maybe at some point I wish I could pick your parents' brain to figure out what they put onto you to get you here tonight and what you guys do, because that would be the best thing for me. So there's not much more that I can say that I want my 2 sons to grow up to be just like you. So I appreciate everything you do. I thank you all for coming tonight, and I commend you for everything you've done. Thank you very much. As always, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. McCann, for your kind words tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Deanna Doherty, and I am the Secretary of National Honor Society and member of the class of 2017. This evening, we honor the new inductees of the Assabet Valley chapter of National Honor Society. As is our tradition, the current membership collects quotes from teachers and faculty from around the school to bring a special individual honor to each of the new inductees. Tonight, Joseph LeDuc and I will present each new member to be inducted by reading their personal message.
Samantha Davolio. Mr. DeMember says, Sam Davolio is a formidable academic with a bright future ahead of her. Sam is always prepared, and she is a wonderful contributor to our class discussion.
Kaylee Lazarus. Mrs. Robbins shares, Kaylee is one of the most considerate and thoughtful students that I've ever had the pleasure of having in class. She is dedicated and hardworking in her academic pursuits, and even on her bad days, she brings a sense of joy to the room. Her smile is contagious, and her sense of humor helps to brighten up any room that she's in. I'm so very proud of her accomplishment as a student. I am honored to have her as a member of our National Honor Society, and I cannot wait to see what she accomplishes next.
Justice Bates. Mr. Collins says, Justice Bates is an absolute pleasure to have in class. She is a diligent student who shows her great promise and quite confidence about herself. She's a true asset to the Assabet community.
Elon Cannon. Mrs. McCarthy shares, Elon is a studious, polite student who is a pleasure to have in class. Congratulations, Elon, for your acceptance into the National Honor Society.
Samantha Downing. Mrs. Loria says, Samantha is a hardworking, sweet young lady who is simply a pleasure to have in class. Not only does she strive hard to do her best work on every assignment, but she does it all with a smile. She's a true role model for her peers in terms of academic effort and achievement.
Nada Gonzalez. Mrs. Shanahan shares, that's a tongue twister. Nada constantly demonstrates her National Honor Society worthiness. She is an intelligent, self-motivated learner who graciously inspires her classmates to rise to her level of excellence.
Brendan Halleck. Mrs. Codera says, Brendan Halleck is a bright, inquisitive student. He is a person who adds to the class discussions and makes connections to current events in the world around him. He's extremely involved in the community and exactly the kind of student that will make NHS a better organization. Congratulations, Brendan.
Ashley Harrington. Mr. DeBartolomeus shares, Ashley is a very focused and conscientious student who gives her best each and every day. She is always prepared for class and actively participates in class discussions.
Ashley LeConte. Mr. Hughes says, Ashley is everything you could want in a student. She is hardworking, compassionate, and positive. She does everything with an enthusiasm that guarantees success.
Benjamin Pierce. Mrs. Lucier shares, Ben is an excellent student. He is always on top of his work and is eager to participate. He is creative and other students like working with him.
Danielle Prefontaine. Mr. Full and Mr. Alex says, Dan is one of the most thoughtful, poignant, kind of determined young men that Assabet Valley's plumbing program has ever come through. Do not mistake his quiet personality for passiveness. We have seen Dan be one of the most fierce students we have ever had. Dan makes us proud and we hope our boy can grow up to be just like him.
Rachel Raymond. Mrs. Forehand shares, Rachel Raymond is a pleasure to have in science class. She works well in groups and independently as well. She shows initiative, quiet confidence, and always comes to class prepared and ready to learn. Rachel will be a great new member of the Assabet Valley National Honor Society.
Hannah Silva. Ms. Forehand says, Hannah Silva is an intellectual leader and thinker who is always prepared and ready to learn, willing to share her ideas, collaborative, and provide supports to her peers. She poses as a positive attitude that helps make those around her better. Hannah is truly a pleasure to have as a student.
Victoria Silva. Victoria is the embodiment of a student athlete. She comes to class prepared every day and gets her work done impeccably with the greatest attention to detail. She is a pleasure to have in class, and I am fortunate to have her as a student.
Lauren True. Mr. Manning says, Lauren is a tremendous student and exemplifies the 4 pillars of the National Honor Society. Lauren proves that actions speak louder than words, and she continually challenges herself and sets the bar high for her expectations. She shows the maturity of an upperclassman by constantly and consistently striving for success and to better her own self.
Elizabeth Valentine. Mr. DuPont shares, Ellie is one of the most positive students I have ever worked with. She emanates confidence, positivity, and genuinely cares about others, often putting others in front of her, while she supports them through their success. Elizabeth is the perfect addition to Assabet's National Honor Society, and she will work hard and raise everyone's stimulus by being around them.
Reginald Warren. Mr. Italiano says, in the words of Theodore Roosevelt, walk softly and carry a big stick. Reggie is quite quiet and unassuming. His strength lies not just in his stature, but ethics and his sense of responsibility.
Margot Watu. Mrs. McCarthy shares, Margot is a mature, studious, classy young woman. She is hardworking and caring. She will be a terrific asset to Assabet Valley's National Honor Society.
Ariana Welch. Ms. Bravowski says, Ariana is a perfect fit for the biotechnology shop because of her love of science and animals. In our shop, Ariana really shines when she's able to work in groups. She's a natural leader and is able to keep a group on task so the project can be completed. She uses her time management skills very well to stay on top of her assignments and provides help to other students whenever she can. We feel very lucky to have her in our shop.
Ethan Whaley. Sergeant Major Tracy Lynch shares, Ethan is a natural leader both in and out of the classroom. I have seen him grow into a charismatic and dedicated student. I have enjoyed Ethan tremendously in my class. His attention to detail, hard work, and enthusiasm has made him an example for other students to emulate. I am so proud of Ethan for being inducted into the National Honor Society.
We would now like to invite up to the podium Mrs. Coder, NHS Co-Advisor. She will be reciting the induction pledge with our new inductees.
Thank you, Joseph. At this time, would all of our inductees please stand and repeat after me? I pledge to uphold the high standards of the National Honor Society to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school. And will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, leadership, service, character, and citizenship. Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce National Honor Society Special Events Chair and member of the class of 2017, Ms. Anna O'Connell. Anna will begin the presentation of the National Honor Society Honorary Inductee Award.
Thank you, Mrs. Coder. Good evening, everyone. Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing Assabet Valley's 2017 National Honor Society Honorary Inductee. This faculty member grew up in a suburb near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and attended a small private college there, where she majored in mathematics. She taught math here at Assabet for 9 years before accepting the newly created Public Relations and Admissions position. This faculty member is genuinely passionate about her job, the community, and truly makes an impact on the lives of everyone that meets her. She has volunteered her time to multiple city committees as well as various school committees. Additionally, she was formerly a city councilor in Marlborough. She honestly loves Assabet, not only her job here, but the school itself. She loves the idea of a technical education and believes that the students here are very talented. This faculty member has shared with me that it is truly a privilege to come to work at Assabet every day. My life has personally been touched by this faculty member. I first met her when I was touring Assabet, and then again when I decided to interview for the school. She was and continues to be extremely kind and uplifting. Although at first I wasn't confident that I could excel at such a large school, she assured me that I would do well at Assabet, and I think she was right. It is her love for what she does, her enthusiasm about the school, and encouragement towards everyone that motivated me to come to the school. I believe she has changed my life for the better, and that she has a similar effect on the lives of many others. This faculty member is very dedicated and involved in Assabet's community, and will always take the time to greet someone in the hallway or cover events including Assabet students. I would like to welcome Mrs. Robbins, who will accept this award on Mrs. Zomar's behalf, to, I would like to welcome Ms. Robbins, who will accept this award on Mrs. Zomar's behalf.
So Mrs. Zomar is absolutely crushed that she cannot be here tonight. She missed her connecting flight in Atlanta earlier this afternoon and is absolutely heartbroken that she cannot be here. But I'm going to give her speech on her behalf. It's lengthy. She's very excited. Many of you have met her. She's very, very excited. So I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but we are videotaping it for her so that she can see. And one of the things that I want to make sure that everybody in the room understands, and I'm sure that she could convey if she was here, and whether or not she was receiving this award or not, she would likely be here in the back of the room with a camera. She is one of the most bubbly personalities. I consider her the welcoming committee to Assabet Valley. When your students stepped off the bus on day one of freshman year, they probably didn't see her face, but they saw her camera lens. And so she is an absolutely amazing ambassador for this school, and she was so honored to receive this award. She cried every single time we talked to her about it. So I think you'll understand why when I read part of her speech. It is a little bit long, so I do apologize, and I don't know that I could ever be as bubbly as Mrs. Zomar, but I will try. So, parents, students, administrators, and fellow staff members, good evening. I can't tell you how excited and moved I am to be here tonight. Years ago when I left the classroom to do admissions and public relations, and they gave me a camera and a microphone, woohoo, that's, yes, everybody knows. The downside was realizing that I would no longer have my students, my own classes, with whom I would have a special connection. Of course, I told myself that now they were all my students, and I have so enjoyed watching them grow and mature. As I tell everyone who tours here with me, I'm constantly amazed at the confidence and talent our students display. It's fun to post their successes on various media forums, but I have wondered if they know how much I feel connected to them. Well, accepting this honor tonight tells me that maybe, just maybe, a little Sally Field moment there, some of them have felt that connection and realized that yes, they are all my students after all. So I thank you. But tonight isn't about me. It's about celebrating these young adults who have managed to do everything right, to make good choices, and to qualify to be part of the National Honor Society, a nationally known organization that recognizes outstanding high school students. This is a big deal. Congratulations. As we've heard tonight, the National Honor Society particularly looks for demonstrations of excellence in 4 key areas: scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Looking around us at this group here, both tonight's inductees and the officers and other members gathered to help in the celebration, it's easy to see why these students have qualified. Now it will be up to them to take up the challenge and continue to be involved in school and in community service opportunities. To the new inductees, I suggest that you look to paths already forged by the current members of our NHS as prime examples of how to be exemplary students and citizens, and how to embody the 4 characteristics of the National Honor Society. As far as scholarship, you've already shown that you're willing to study, to listen attentively, and have an open mind toward learning new things, based on your grades. Since their inductions, your current members have continued to take the tough courses and push themselves to test their limits. I took a look at the transcripts and schedules of just your 5 officers, and they've taken 69 various honors or AP courses since they've been here. Talk about academic overload. I think we have a group of overachievers here. That averages to almost 14 honors or AP classes apiece. Now there is an example worth following. When it comes to service, look around you in your own communities, in your churches, your neighborhoods, and even in your families. If you see a need, try to see what you can do to fill it. Participate in fundraising walks for good causes, volunteer to help serve meals at a shelter or a church function, collect items for the local food pantry, offer to help your coach at a youth sports team or Lego team, lend a hand at Special Olympics events right here in Marlboro. There are so many ways to make a difference in someone's life. Muhammad Ali once said, "Service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on earth." Remember that. Basically, he's telling us that it is our duty to lend a hand when we can, to reach out to those less fortunate, and to try to make the world around us just a little bit better whenever possible. I'm almost halfway done. I need a breather. Okay. Leadership is almost a given in a group like this. You're already showing leadership qualities because you work hard and always do your best in academics and in your shops. Beyond that, step up when the chance presents itself. Be the first volunteer in class. Give your team a pep talk when they need it. Be a role model for younger students and siblings. Show others the way to make good choices in their lives. Stand up for others, speak out against injustice, and always choose the right thing, even if the wrong thing seems to be more popular. Have you seen RJ Grasso and Nicole Lento on the basketball court? The Marinelli twins at First Robotics or as class officers? Stephen Garrett in JROTC? Liliana Sullivan in a play? Watch how Brian CP, Sydney Mayette, Deanna Doherty, Hannah Bisa, and Anna O'Connell conduct themselves as your officers. These are just a few of the many students here who lead by example and who make their world a better place one day at a time. Carry on that tradition. Character is a bit harder to define, as it really is the summation of who you are, especially when no one is watching. It's more about the good and kind things that you do, the way you handle yourself around others, and the way you treat others just as part of your everyday life. A good character certainly goes hand in hand with being a role model, and sometimes it's just the little things that make the most. When you walk the dog or take out the trash without being asked, unless you're Mr. McCann, visit your grandparents just because, carry the groceries in for your parents, read a story to your younger siblings, that's building character. Sometimes you'll hear people say that overcoming some adversity was a way to build character, and that's often true, but only if the takeaway was a positive result. When you lose a game and sincerely congratulate the winner, even though you're disappointed and hurting, that shows strong character. Again, you have some great role models right here in your classes and shops. Look at Alden Vetter, Grace Cormier, Corey Daly, Adam Moore, Joe LeDuc, or Jessica Salas in their respective shops and extracurricular activities. They're always willing to step up and help others, particularly the younger students, and they don't wait to be asked. Theodore Roosevelt is quoted as saying, "Bodily vigor is good, and vigor of intellect is even better. But far above both is character." Your character, basically, who you are inside, is how you will be remembered when you leave Assabet and go on to even more exciting things. In closing, I would like to congratulate once again the new inductees and, of course, your parents for being you. Continue to make good choices and do the right thing, and always give your best effort. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, so dream big." And again, thank you so much for this award and for allowing me to be part of this night. I am truly honored. So she ends with a woo-hoo, so I'm hoping that on 3, everybody in here, because she's going to watch this, if we can give her one big woo-hoo, she'll love it. So on 3, a big woo-hoo. 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right, excellent. Thank you so much. We finally made it to the end of our program, and our president, Brian Coliona-Parenta, is going to come up and close things up for us. So thank you once again.
So first off, thank you for delivering her speech, and thank you, Mrs. Omar. That was truly an amazing speech. I think it touched everyone's heart, and to the students who are outside, it was amazing. So, we've all witnessed the first steps of our newest inductees in their journey to become great members of Assabet Valley and the world around them. You have all outdone yourselves in the fields of character, scholarship, leadership, and service. We all anxiously await to see what great things each and every one of you will accomplish. Thank you for your dedication to this school as well as the community. We are excited to begin working with you. On behalf of the Assabet Valley Regional Technical High School National Honor Society, thank you to all of our guests for attending this special occasion and sharing in our induction ceremony. After your reception of the new inductees, you are all invited to a reception just outside the Epicurean room. Congratulations to all our new inductees. Please stand for our inductee reception.